With one of the most diverse composing resumes, today's artist has scored the lives of the royal family, quirky indies, taken us to places beyond the stars, and even helped give music when a vampire and a werewolf fought over a human. Yes. We are in season 3 of Oscar Rewind, and today I am looking at Pathé Distribution and Miramax's The Queen. Written by Peter Morgan and directed by Stephen Frears, the film released in the fall of 2006 following its premiere at the Venice Film Festival. What's up, everybody? Cinephile Mike here, and it's a new episode of Oscar Rewind, where I look back at the films of this past year's Oscar nominees and winners. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss any of these throwbacks. We are in Chapter 5, The Sound of Oscar. We're looking at the focus on the music that has taken us to emotional places. We're looking at those that have composed scores, written songs, as well as the teams behind the sound effects that gave us so many worlds of wonder this past year. Today, we are looking at a composer who's been in your ears more than you realize. And even after a massive resume earned his first Oscar nomination for this film, before receiving his 12th nomination this past year for Frankenstein. And that is the wonderful Alexandre Desplat. If you've never seen The Queen, here's your quick spoiler-free setup. 1997, big year in England. Within that year, Tony Blair, played by Michael Sheen, is elected Prime Minister based on a manifesto of reform and modernization and challenging the more traditional methods of the reigning Queen Elizabeth, played by the wonderful, fabulous, irreplaceable, national treasure that is Helen Mirren. Can you tell I'm a fan? And shortly after this, tragedy strikes. In Paris, while fleeing from the paparazzi, Princess Diana, shown in archival footage throughout the film, dies in a terrible car crash. If unfamiliar at this time, Diana was already divorced from Prince Charles and was trying to piece together her new life after the family drama and after the divorce. Almost immediately, the Queen's desire to handle the arrangements in a more traditional private manner clash with that of the views of Blair and the Labour Party, as well as the British citizens, who at this time have been demonstrating a bit of downturn in public sentiment when it comes to the crown and the monarchy. Now, with the public wanting the chance to share their grief, conflicting with the royal family wanting it contained, it drives the drama-calling Queen Elizabeth to question her role in society, the role of the crown, and also dissect the impact of a public figure like Diana was versus who she is. Now, aiding her in all of this, we have her private secretary and best supporter, Robin Janvrin, played by Roger Allam, input from her mother, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, played by Sylvia Sims, and her supportive husband, Prince Philip, played by James Cromwell. With them, she begins to navigate this newer world, as it were, and see what the ramifications would be for her family as she tries to avoid public eye and, sees what happens when these choices are flashed across the screens and the papers thanks to Blair's team, led by his press secretary, Alistair Campbell, played by Mark Baisley. Here's the thing. It's hard to spoil this one because most of us know the history, so I'm going to talk about the structure here, though. It's no secret that Peter Morgan has an affinity for charting the life and drama in the London political system. Fun fact, some may not know, this is actually the second film in the informally known Tony Blair trilogy, written by Morgan, with Michael Sheen being the constant, playing Tony Blair across 3 films, and Helen McCrory playing his wife Cherie. He did The Deal in 2003, predating this one, which looked at Blair's early relationship and career with Gordon Brown, which was released on British television. Then The Special Relationship came out on HBO in 2010, which looked at Blair's relationship with the Clintons. But it was the Queen that had the big, massive push theatrically. And in this role, Elizabeth, there's not enough. I could spend 30 minutes talking about every wonderful thing Helen Mirren does here. And while we know there was never a response from the Queen or how she felt about this performance, here's what we do know. The Queen did send her a letter, and Mirren was invited to dinner at Buckingham Palace. She couldn't go. She was invited. But Mirren, her performance, she portrays all these complicated emotions of a ruler in all facets, from the stone-faced public figure, to showing this strength for her family, and then having those small moments of break when alone. There's one really poignant scene when she's out hunting, which will just about break your heart. I think that might be the scene why she won the Oscar. Whole performance is great. Sheen is just the right level of smarm as Tony Blair, and in the few scenes that the two share together, you wonder if the interactions between them were actually like that. Like, how much research was Morgan able to do when he wrote this screenplay? And here's the thing, too. He smartly avoids getting too bogged down in all of the aftermath of Diana's passing. We don't see or focus the whole impact on the whole family, right? We barely see young Harry and William. We don't have much with Prince Charles. It really focuses in on Elizabeth and how she is coping with all of this, and her interactions with Blair, and how the circumstances of the choices of the two of them clash, conflict, and keeps a pretty brisk and engaging 95 minutes or so. In the midst of the drama, I have to say, though, it's also nice he finds really sharp moments of humor that remind us that while these are very powerful people in high places, these decisions, they are normal people. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, but it's true, and the performers really play the balance nicely. Craft-wise, I have to say, the costumes, the set elements, everything's so beautiful to look at. You feel the authenticity with what was recreated. I mean, they never filmed in Buckingham Palace, so look, that's a testament to costumer Consolata Boyle, production designer Alan McDonald, and the whole team that pulled this off. And look, the reason we're here, Desplat's sweeping score is, for me, I feel like it's almost iconic, or it should be. There's a mix of orchestral sounds that keep repeating, throughout the film, that it almost seems like there's like a theme song in the film, and punctuating moments of quiet reflection and, picking up the tempo when the lives of Elizabeth and her family get upended. It's a real nice narrative tension. The music's almost like another character in and of itself. Even the introduction music, when we first see this grand reveal of Mirren in the Elizabeth garb, like that, 3 seconds of music has lived rent-free in my head for 20 years. Now, let's talk about the box office and awards. After this film's run, it made $56,441,711 domestically, $68,483,629 internationally, giving it a worldwide take of $124,925,340. Critically, this film is high on the tomato meter, 97% from 202 reviews, 76% on the popcorn meter from over 100,000 audience reviews. Award season-wise, it won 97 different awards from nearly 200 nods. I don't think there was an acting award that Helen Mirren didn't win for this role, like maybe one, but she pretty much took everything. And a few other highlights from that almost 200. 5 other Oscar nods: picture, director, screenplay, costume design, and Desplat. Like I said, this was his first Oscar nomination. There were 2 BAFTA wins: Mirren for actress and best film. Was also nominated for best British film, ironically not winning. Directing, original screenplay, supporting actor for Sheen, Desplat for the score, editing, costumes, and makeup and hair. There were 2 Golden Globe wins: Mirren and Morgan for the screenplay, as well as nods for best picture, drama, and directing. I could keep going, but we'll hold it there. Look, I love this film, if you can't tell from the way I'm talking about it, from the amazing performances to the technical flourishes to the score to the tight time frame. I didn't need a long 3-hour film. The Queen is really a beautifully solid, well-made 5-star film. If you would like to watch or rewatch this film, it is currently streaming on Tubi, along with the first film of the trilogy if you want to be a completist. The Deal is also on Tubi, and the third one, if you want to close it, Special Relationship, is on HBO Max. And that's it for episode 38 of Season 3 of Oscar Rewind. If you enjoyed this episode and want to check out the others, make sure to subscribe to the channel, check out the playlist, and let me know in the comments. What's your favorite film that looks at the British monarchy? Been a few. Please follow me on all social media platforms and check out my website, cinephilemike.com, for more exclusive cinematic content, filmmaker interviews, and festival coverage. I'll see you all for the next Rewind, but until then, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.